Hi, this is Tom Fitton with Judicial Watch here with our Facebook Live weekly update. It's been a busy week here at Judicial Watch about the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation. Just yesterday we had some breaking news that I'll tell you about, and there was an important election integrity victory this week in an Ohio court, or an appellate court, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in Ohio that oversees Ohio, and I'll talk about that as well. But first I also want to highlight the fact that Clean House, our great new book, Exposing Our Government Secret and Lies, is coming out on Tuesday. Please buy the book. It not only goes to Judicial Watch's bottom line, so you'd be helping us out, but you also be telling the establishment and the politicians that this issue of government corruption is important to you. It's a great book. Peter Schweitzer, who is author of Clinton Cash, says, if you care about the future of our country and want to make a difference, read Clean House. It's time to put both Democrats and Republicans on notice. And Judge Napolitano, who you've seen on Fox News as a senior judicial analyst, and he's a professor of law at Brooklyn Law School, he said that Clean House is the story of our historic fight for government transparency. Read it with a warning, it'll keep you up late into the night. So I guess it's a thriller, according to Judge Napolitano, but it's a great book, and you'll be helping Judicial Watch out and doing something good in terms of educating yourself. So buy one for you, and buy one for your children and grandchildren and your friends and colleagues, and share the wealth. But I tell you, our previous book, Corruption Chronicles, which is out now, I keep on my desk not because I like seeing a book that I've written, it's because I use it all the time. Because, as Glenn Beck called it, was the Encyclopedia Britannica of government corruption. So I encourage you to get the book. And in the book, we talk about the Clinton emails and give you great background on that, which is a nice segue into our first discussion talking about the Clinton email scandal. Now, you may recall earlier this week, if you joined our Facebook Live discussion earlier this week, where I broke the news that there were new Clinton emails that we had uncovered related to the foundation that showed that, again, foundation donors and supporters were getting access and special favors from the Clinton administration and the Clinton State Department, the Clinton State Department, through these emails. And the emails show that, for instance, the Crown Prince of Bahrain, a big donor, supporter, partner of the foundation, couldn't get a meeting with Mrs. Clinton through regular, normal diplomatic channels. A foreign head of state went through the Clinton Foundation to get a meeting with the Secretary of State. And if that isn't corrupt, I don't know what is. Another donor was seeking help on a visa. If that isn't corrupt, I don't know what is. And the visa was for a criminal who couldn't get a visa into the United States. But on the other hand, it was kind of good to see that the visa system sometimes works, and they do sometimes keep criminals out of the United States. So maybe we should find out how that worked and replicate it elsewhere. But the corruption is endemic, and it was another firestorm that was created as a result. The media had been very interested in this story. There were front page stories in the Washington Post, the New York Times. It's been all over the news. I'm sure you've seen us on Fox News and elsewhere. Even ABC News covered it. So this is breaking through to the big media. The Clintons hate it. They've been attacking Judicial Watch unbelievably with these 90s comments about calling us a right-wing organization and saying we're mischaracterizing the documents. What I love about our work is that we put all the documents out there for you to evaluate. So don't take our word for it. Read the emails. Read the ethics agreements that Clinton signed. Read the promises by the Clinton Foundation that they would act above board and not even create the appearance of a conflict of interest. And then read these emails and see if the Clinton Foundation's executives communicating with the top officials at the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton State Department, comport with those ethics promises. Those rules were broken. And as a result of these latest disclosures, there have been calls throughout the political spectrum for an independent criminal investigation, for the full shutting down of the Clinton Foundation, and other accountability. And I can tell you, other documents are going to come out, for sure. We now know that there are at least 14,900 documents that only we were able to get through the State Department. And these are the FBI documents, or the documents the FBI recovered that Mrs. Clinton deleted. But now we're going to get those emails. And the State Department, as a court hearing, as I told you about, a court hearing, the court in that case ordered the State Department to tell him next month when we're going to start getting these emails. So they're going to start coming next month. And just yesterday, there was a court ruling in Florida on behalf in another Judicial Watch case. We're not suing for ourselves. We're suing for Dr. Larry Kawa, who's a great friend of Judicial Watch, a great citizen activist down in Florida, successful businessman. He was seeking some simple documents about Benghazi and Hillary Clinton. And the judge in that case said, you know, you need to look at these new cache of emails and turn over anything you find by September 13th. And by the way, we had this incredible revelation from the State Department this week to us again, that they did find some Benghazi hits in their searches of these new Clinton emails. Again, these are the emails that she tried to delete unsuccessfully. So there were Benghazi materials in the Clinton emails that she deleted? Incredible news. It's just astonishing. And they said they're going to turn over those documents to us beginning September 30th, although they're pretending they potentially may not be responsive, even though they found the records in response to searches related to Benghazi. So if you figure out how that works, tell me. You know, one of the things we wanted to know is, okay, well, it's good that you're going to give us the documents, but we can't agree to September 30th because if it's one document, why would we wait a month? But they don't want to tell us how many documents there are. So what happened? A court yesterday ruled in that case that he wants to have a hearing on the issue on Tuesday. So there's going to be a court hearing next week. So there are at least 3 Judicial Watch cases now. There's a third case on Huma Abedin's special government employee status, in which the administration and the State Department is going to have to search these new Clinton emails. Remember, these emails that Ms. Clinton never wanted you to see, and turn over the results of those searches to Judicial Watch beginning September 13th, and there'll be another production at least on September 30th. And on top of that, of course, we've now got the September 23rd date where the State Department is going to have to tell the court when they're going to produce all of those tens of thousands, 14,900 emails as they're supposed to under law. Now, the State Department has concocted some ridiculous process for evaluating these documents and what portions of them can be released. But they've had them since July 25th, but they've been stonewalling them. Now, the interesting news is that the Clinton Foundation, in response to Judicial Watch's revelations this week and the revelations a few weeks ago about this corrupt Nigerian billionaire seeking access to the records to the State Department, again, through the Clinton Foundation, they said that they're going to stop raising foreign money and corporate money if she wins office. Well, most normal people say, well, why don't you just stop now? And, of course, they don't want to stop now because the racket needs to keep going as long as they can make it. And Bill Clinton said, I'm stepping down from the foundation, but Chelsea isn't stepping down from the foundation, and she didn't commit, according to the Wall Street Journal, not to fundraise. And remember, the Clinton Foundation is just one of many Clinton-related foundations that are out there. So there's always going to be a racket potentially for the Clintons, so we've got to watch that pretty carefully. But if Judicial Watch isn't coming up with anything, why are the Clintons running away from the foundation, or at least pretending to run away from the foundation? I thought the foundation would have been shut down by now, but I guess not. The racket's too important to them. So, again, next week, court hearing. Over the next few weeks, more Clinton emails. And these emails are going to keep on coming to Judicial Watch no matter who wins the election. So we're going to be talking about Clinton emails in a Trump administration or a Clinton administration or a Jill Stein administration. But whoever wins, Judicial Watch is going to be keeping track of it all. And by the way, this isn't about Clinton's election. This is about government accountability. And no matter who wins the election, government corruption ain't leaving town. And so Judicial Watch is going to have to monitor what the government's up to, whether Trump or Clinton wins. And so the challenges may be different depending on who the president is or who controls Congress or whatever happens. You can trust Judicial Watch to keep on policing government on behalf of the American people without regard to party, which is something that too often happens here, that corruption issues become part of the partisan battle, and so that's why people trust Judicial Watch so much, since we're not affiliated with any party. Other big news before I go for the weekend is that we have this big decision out of the Sixth Circuit. There was this lower court decision in Ohio in response to a lawsuit filed by local Democrats in Ohio who objected to Ohio stopping or changing early voting from 35 days to 29 days. Yeah, I mean, that's that crazy. And by the way, that change was as a part of an agreement with the NAACP. So I guess it was a racist effort to suppress the minority vote by collaborating with the NAACP. Again, if you can figure out how that works, let me know. But the appellate court, we filed an amicus brief with our frequent amici partners, I guess it's a technical way of putting it, it's a plural, the Allied Educational Foundation, and the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned that lower court ruling. And they said, first of all, not all states even have early voting. And are you saying that when you institute early voting, that you don't necessarily have to, that any change to the law can be challenged using these spurious racial theories of disparate impact and things like that? And the court said, obviously not. Just because you say 35 days, it doesn't mean anything less than 35 days is inherently discriminatory. But this is an indication, again, that the left, in alliance with the Justice Department run by the Obama administration, Soros-backed entities, and partisans on the left, are challenging election integrity laws all over the United States. And why would you challenge election integrity laws unless you didn't want election integrity? Why would you challenge voter ID? Why would you challenge these wasteful and potentially perilous processes of having elections begin 35 plus days outside of an election? Why would you challenge or be opposed to making sure that only eligible citizens are registered to vote, that you're not a foreign national, whether here legally or not? Why would you be against all that, except if you didn't want the ability to steal elections if necessary? So we have significant threats to election integrity, and these attacks on election integrity, I fear, are really going to impact whether there's a clean election come election day, because when you get the feeling, because some of these voter ID laws have been tossed aside or criticized or curtailed, if people think they can get away with voting illegally as a result of adverse decisions or attacks on election integrity generally, they're going to try to do it. So it's something we've got to keep a watch on. So we're going to be busy over the next few weeks. I encourage you, I can't be on Facebook Live every day, although I'm sure you all would want us to give you reports every day. Maybe we should start doing that. My colleague here is saying no. But we do want to keep you updated. So come to the Facebook site, go to our website at judicialwatch.org. That way you can track all the developments. There's so much in the Clinton emails that we didn't even get to in our press release. And I'll leave you with this. Did you know that Mrs. Clinton, for instance, didn't want to have to deal with taking a shuttle up to White Plains from Washington, D.C., so she asked Huma Abedin, her deputy chief of staff, to get the Air Force to give her a ride. And she did secure a jet. And by the way, the Air Force has business class type jets for VIP travel. And so nothing's too good for Mrs. Clinton. And you know, we've been instrumental in exposing President Obama's abuse of his travel perks. Obviously, he wasn't the only one in the administration doing that. But it's stuff like that that's also in there that I encourage you to track our stories and stories about our discoveries, because there's so much more that I can't even tell you about given the limited format we have here. But we'll try to keep you updated as best we can. We've got the big court hearing on Tuesday. Potentially there are Benghazi documents coming out next month from the Mrs. Clinton's deleted emails, which is an outrageous scandal. And you can bet there'll be more Clinton Foundation records coming out next month as well. But it just shows you, those of you who are supporting Judicial Watch, how important our work is, how significant historically our work is, and it's just a testament to the hard work and perseverance of our colleagues here at Judicial Watch, and to the supporters out there among you who support us, that we're able to do this, because you know, things can get better, and we're showing the way forward. That the Washington corruption is terrible, but Little Hole Judicial Watch, if we can do this, imagine what can be done if more Americans join our cause and pressure the politicians and the corrupt establishment to take this issue of corruption and transparency and being good stewards of our tax dollars more seriously. So thanks again for your support. We had a great, great week. I can't, it'd be difficult to overstate our impact this week. But stay tuned at our website and here for more updates as events warrant, because they are going to be coming fast and furious over the next few weeks. Thanks again. And again, remember the book comes out on Tuesday. Get the word out about the book. Begin pre-ordering it now. We want to make it a bestseller. You make it a bestseller, you're sending a statement to the media. You're sending a statement to the establishment that corruption matters and the American people are interested in it and want it stopped, no matter who's in power, no matter what party is running things. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.